Good morning from the jungles of Costa Rica.
For the past 2 months, Greg and I have been traveling most of Central America, all the way from Mexico down to Costa Rica.
And in this video, we want to share with you the tips and tricks of what we've learned throughout this backpacking journey.
Exactly, and we're going to talk about things like accommodation, transportation, food and drinks, and activities.
Basically, the things that we think you need to budget for or think about before you start this trip.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, there were 4 main things that we wanted to cover here. It's transportation, accommodation, food and drink, and activities. So if we start with transportation, what we've learned in the last couple of months is that there's a few different ways you can do it. You can do it by private shuttle, by chicken bus in Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Honduras, or you can do it by private taxi or renting a vehicle. So
Yes.
Do you want to start with the shuttles?
I think in most of the country, from what we've experienced, the shuttles are a very good way to overcome large distances and a very good alternative to the chicken buses. The shuttles are mini buses, so they usually fit between, I don't know, 6 and 10 people, sometimes even more. And they're relatively slow because they pick people up on the way, but they will still in the end get you there faster than the chicken bus. And they will be a little bit more expensive, but not as expensive as a private taxi.
Exactly. They tend to be a little less comfortable as well. We took a couple of shuttles in Guatemala that were organized by the Accommodation, and it was like 200 kilometers. We did this twice, from Flores to Lanquin and then Lanquin to Antigua, and both times was just over 200 kilometers, and both times took over 10 hours.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Which is really, really painful.
That being said, though, it's due to the roads in Guatemala. I think in all the other countries we wouldn't have had those problems, but Guatemala, it's just, you have to take that into account. The roads are really, really bad. There's a lot of construction, and that's why just any transportation would be slow.
Yeah, and the chicken bus would be even slower than the shuttle.
Yeah.
The chicken bus, however, is a very fun experience. If you have never been in one, it's essentially an old school bus, usually from North America or from Europe, that has been converted into like this really pimped out, cool style bus, especially in Antigua. A lot of the bus drivers pride themselves on the decoration of their buses, and it is quite the experience. They drive really quickly. It's stop and go. They drop you off wherever you want. They pick up whoever on the side of the road.
Yeah.
There's stuff getting thrown on the top. The back door is open. It's just absolutely hectic.
I think there's like 100 people in this bus. We're squished together, slowly making our way to the kite festival.
Still taking people on.
Which is really fun for like a short distance.
Yes,
You know,
but
maybe
with a lot of equipment, a lot of stuff, it's a little dangerous and slightly annoying. And yeah, if you're not a big fan of loud music, loud Latin American music, don't go on a chicken bus.
Right. So another alternative in transportation is private cars like taxis or renting a vehicle, which is very much more expensive. However, a lot more convenient, especially if you're 4 people. We did a couple taxis in Nicaragua, splitting with other travelers that we met, and it ended up being like $10 each, I think, for about a 2-hour ride, and it got us there in half the time that a chicken bus or a shuttle would have taken. So that's a really nice option. Renting cars are extremely expensive, but again, if you can split it between 4 people, it is not that bad.
Yeah, we're making that experience right now in Costa Rica. We rented a car, and it's definitely an option.
Right on. So let's move on from transportation to accommodation. A lot of people that I've met are using Booking.com or Airbnb, and specifically for us, Airbnb has been working really well through Central America.
Yeah, we like Airbnb better, one, because usually it's a private home. Sometimes it's hostels too, but you get to a place and it's more like, you just feel more like home, and you can unpack your stuff, and you're not stuffed in a dorm room, or you share a bath with 100 other travelers. And it's got more of a little bit of a private touch to it, which I personally really like. And sometimes it's still shared accommodation, and you get in touch with the people who live there. Another nice thing about Airbnb is that they usually don't charge taxes on top of what you've already paid, which with Booking.com we've had some
never sure of what we pay until we arrive.
Exactly, and that's not a nice thing. So Airbnb booking, I would go for the Airbnb.
Yeah, it depends how you're traveling, but on average, we've only spent maybe like $15 a night each maximum. You can go a bit higher, obviously, if you want to splurge, but it's possible to travel Central America at that $10 a night for accommodation, especially if you're a solo traveler. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. There's a lot of options out there, so do your research before arriving in the destination. Let's move on. So that was accommodation. What do you think about touching on food and drink in Central America?
Yeah, it also goes from here to here, I think. So there's those really classic backpacker spots where you'll probably find prices that you're used to back from Europe or from America, just because those places are very touristy and they've adapted the prices to all the backpackers or tourists that come there. But then you can also find those really good, cheap local places like
Comedores, sodas,
exactly,
buffet style,
tacos on the street food, which tends to be incredibly tasty, really good, and very cheap.
The fruit and vegetable is really good in Central
That's
America.
a good one, yeah. Juices, fresh juices.
Lots of fresh juice, papaya, pineapple, mango, oranges. It's all really, really nice down here. So if you're looking to save money on food and drink, well, first of all, just cut out alcohol. Alcohol is usually a huge spend for a lot of people. So if you're not buying, cocktails or beers or whatever mixed drinks, then you're going to be probably saving a lot of money, because it is possible to eat at less than $10 a day. And look with your accommodation, because they might have breakfast included, which is really big, or a kitchen available where you can cook for yourself.
That's also a big one.
So yeah, that'll help with food and drink. And then let's move this along. The last one was activities, which we have admittedly not done a lot of. That can also add up when you're traveling Central America, from scuba diving to volcano hikes to trekking, whatever.
Anything that is organized basically through a second company.
Tour operators.
Yeah. Can do all those activities though, which we have done on your own. You can organize them yourselves. You can go travel to the certain places that you want to go to by chicken bus or a private taxi, or even hitchhike, which makes it a lot cheaper.
Yeah, however, some things do require a guide or some sort of entrance fee or whatever. So again, do your research when it comes to activities. But I think maybe the best way to manage what you want to do in Central America is sort of breaking it down for each country and destination within that country, and then researching how much it's going to cost to do whatever certain activity it is, and plan ahead for that and budget for that.
Yeah, and obviously also talk to other travelers while you're going along, because if you book a tour or you organize a trip for more than just 2 people or 1 person, it ends up being cheaper. So talk to other travelers, see if they have the same plans, and just organize something together, which is also more fun.
Yes. So those are our quick tips about traveling and backpacking in Central America. Again, it's only been about 2 and a bit months for us, and we're in the last week here in Costa Rica. We've still got the Central Pacific coast and the Osa Peninsula to explore, and we should be making a couple more videos about that experience as well.
I think so, yeah.
And then for us, it is off to Canada for Christmas with my family, and then from there, we're heading back to Europe for the winter, and we should be in Germany and Austria by January.
Yeah. However, coming back to this video, if you have any questions, particularly about Central America, drop us a line, comments below, and we'll be more than happy to answer them.
All right, I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching.
And we'll see you on the next one.